The tennis world is no stranger to dramatic volleys and fierce competition, but the recent legal battle between the Professional Tennis Players Association, or PTPA, and the sport's governing bodies has sent shockwaves through the game. The PTPA, representing a group of prominent players, filed lawsuits in the United States, United Kingdom, and European Union, alleging anti-competitive practices and a disregard for player welfare. These lawsuits are a culmination of years of simmering discontent among players who feel their voices haven't been adequately heard. The PTPA's legal action centers around a core set of grievances, with prize money distribution, tournament scheduling, and intrusive personal device searches topping the list. The association argues that the current system unfairly benefits tournaments and governing bodies at the expense of the players, who put their bodies and minds on the line each match. This lawsuit is a defining moment for tennis, potentially reshaping the power dynamics and future direction of the sport. The PTPA's bold move has drawn both praise and criticism, with supporters applauding their courage in challenging the status quo, and detractors accusing them of sowing division within the tennis community. Regardless of which side of the net one sits on, the outcome of this legal battle will have far-reaching consequences for the sport and its stakeholders. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the world is watching as this high-stakes tennis match unfolds both inside and outside the courtroom. The lawsuits, filed in early 2025, are still in their initial stages, but they've already ignited a firestorm of debate and speculation. The PTPA's legal team is preparing for a protracted battle, promising to expose what they believe are systemic issues within the sport's governance. This case is about more than just money. It's about fairness, respect, and ensuring that the voices of those who make the sport so captivating are heard loud and clear. The origins of the PTPA can be traced back to 2020, a tumultuous year marked by the COVID-19 pandemic and growing dissatisfaction among tennis players regarding their treatment and influence within the sport. At the heart of this movement was Novak Djokovic, the Serbian tennis superstar, widely regarded as one of the greatest to ever grace the court. Djokovic, along with Canadian player Vasek Pospisil, spearheaded the formation of the PTPA, envisioning an independent body that would exclusively represent the interests of professional tennis players. Their aim was to create a united front capable of negotiating better terms for players, particularly concerning prize money, tournament schedules, and player welfare. While Djokovic's involvement was instrumental in the PTPA's genesis, he made the strategic decision not to be named as a plaintiff in the lawsuit. This tactical maneuver was likely influenced by the potential for negative publicity and distractions surrounding his previous stance on COVID-19 vaccination policies. Despite his absence from the plaintiff list, Djokovic remains a vocal advocate for the PTPA's mission and goals. He views the association as a crucial step in empowering players and ensuring they have a fair say in matters that directly impact their careers and livelihoods. Djokovic's vision for the PTPA extends beyond mere financial gains, encompassing a desire for greater transparency, accountability, and a more equitable distribution of power within the sport. The PTPA's lawsuit outlines a litany of grievances against the ATP, or Association of Tennis Professionals, and WTA, or Women's Tennis Association, alleging that these governing bodies have prioritized profits and tournament interests over the well-being and fair treatment of players. One of the most contentious issues revolves around prize money distribution, with the PTPA arguing that players deserve a larger share of the revenue generated by Grand Slam tournaments and other high-profile events. Beyond financial matters, the PTPA raises concerns about the grueling and often unreasonable demands of the professional tennis calendar. The current schedule, spanning almost the entire year, leaves players susceptible to injuries, burnout, and limited time for personal pursuits. The PTPA advocates for a shorter season, allowing players more time for rest, recovery, and training, ultimately promoting longevity and a higher quality of play. Adding another layer of complexity to the case is the PTPA's objection to what they perceive as invasive personal device searches conducted by the International Tennis Integrity Agency, or ITIA, the body responsible for upholding integrity within the sport. The PTPA alleges that the ITIA's protocols, which include random phone searches, infringe upon players' privacy rights and create an atmosphere of distrust. The PTPA's legal challenge strikes at the heart of power dynamics within professional tennis. They argue that the current system grants disproportionate control to tournament organizers and governing bodies, leaving players with limited bargaining power and avenues for redress. This power imbalance, the PTPA contends, has created an environment where players' concerns are often dismissed or ignored, leading to the current impasse. Section 4. Return of serve the Tour's defense and counterpoints. The ATP and WTA, named as defendants in the PTPA's lawsuit, have vehemently denied the allegations of anti-competitive practices and player mistreatment. They maintain that they've consistently worked to improve conditions for players, pointing to significant increases in prize money and efforts to address scheduling concerns as evidence of their commitment. The ATP, in its defense, highlights a substantial $70 million increase in prize money distributed to players over the past 5 years. They emphasize the introduction of a profit-sharing model in 2022, designed to provide players with a greater percentage of revenue generated by the tour. The WTA echoes this sentiment, noting that total prize money for 2024 reached a record $221 million, a significant increase from the previous year. Regarding the contentious issue of player privacy and the ITIA's device search protocols, the tours stand by the agency's procedures, arguing that they are necessary to maintain the integrity of the sport and deter match fixing and other corrupt practices. The ITIA defends its protocols, stating that drug tests are conducted within a reasonable time frame, and phone searches require high-level approval, ensuring they're not used arbitrarily. The tours acknowledge the need for continued dialogue and collaboration with players to address concerns and find mutually beneficial solutions. However, they've also expressed frustration with the PTPA's confrontational approach, suggesting that litigation is counterproductive and could undermine efforts to achieve meaningful progress. They urge the PTPA to return to the negotiating table, emphasizing that open communication and good faith discussions are the most effective path toward resolving differences.